You got the clap. Anyways. Hey, you guys that are watching the video eventually, once we do it, put it on the thing that you watch it on. Today's an exciting day. That one. Number 5, Trek Fit Fest, Home Fit Fest. I know what I'm talking about, I'm being a jackass. Number 5, WOD 5, bringing the thunder today, all right? Starting off with mobility, quads and T-spine, then going into some cool skill progressions today, stuff we haven't done before. Hopefully no one dies. And then we have the WOD. Let's begin, okay? So for our quads and our T-spine, all right? So for the T-spine, you can use this guy, foam roller. If your backpack is really big and bulbous, you can use that. That's right, I used the word bulbous. I win the bet. All right, so looking to get the shoulders, shoulder blade just above kind of the pressure point of the foam roller. Hands behind the head or reach up here, whatever, doesn't matter, as long as you feel like you're getting that movement. And then push the ribs down, so you're trying to almost like give yourself a little crunch. And then you want to feel those upper abs working, okay? If you relax, you're not really going to feel them, but if you, you're going to feel them, okay? Keep those guys engaged. And then back up, okay? So you should feel the upper curvature of your spine, also known as the thoracic spine. You should feel that extending back. Okay? You're not going to get a lot of range out of it because you're moving quite against the natural curvature of it. So only just like a noticeable extension is going to be good for us. And this extension is what really helps us be effective in our overhead squat, squat snatch, all the stuff we do on a bar for like kipping and such, okay? The more we're able to get those arms back, the better our extension of our thoracic spine is, which allows us more extension through our shoulders, which allows us to create more of that kind of bow so we can snap on the bar harder. Write that down, okay? So from there, we're just going to do a few reps here. You can go a little bit lower, a few reps there. If you feel like you're starting to just like extend through your lumbar, you're losing it, and then you can go a little bit higher, and there'll be a certain point in which you're like, okay, I don't feel like I'm getting anything anymore, and that's where you can stop, okay? So there is our T-spine work, okay? For our quads, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get you on your side, bottom leg is straight, and I want you to get this guy, and you're gonna pin it behind you, okay? So my leg is in a stretch, my toe is pinned on the floor. That's out of the way here. And then what you can do to get deeper stretch is you can just progressively push your body down farther, and it's just gonna push that hip forward. And then from there, just a few arm circles. Okay, so what that's gonna do is by getting that big reach, is gonna increase the length of that fascial chain. Up, get that big stretch there, and then kind of come back and around. And then by getting it back to here, same thing, kind of extends that chain, okay? So what we're looking to do is go for about 10 to 15 arm circles there. That's a new one for us, okay? And as you go through it, as you do more arm circles, you can progressively kind of get a deeper and deeper stretch, but don't go crazy off the start because it's gonna be one of those ones when you first do it, you're like, holy cow, that's big, okay? So there is our quad stretch, all right? Let's go into our skill progressions today, all right? So we are working on a back bridge today, okay? The back bridge is exactly what I was talking about when we were doing our T-spine work. Our back bridge is essentially a loaded position of the big extension we want to be into in a lot of movements, okay? So there's 4 progressions we're gonna go through today, and they're all gonna have something a little bit different, okay? So first progression has a bit of a sliding scale. You can start fairly close to the wall, and all I want you to do is reach across and then sweep, touch the wall, other side, sweep, touch the wall, no problem. A little farther forward. No problem, a little farther forward. Woo! Slight problem, a little farther forward. This is gonna be the hard one. Okay, so all we're doing is getting used to getting that back bend, that extension, okay? So, second progression is actually getting both hands on the wall. So you walk yourself back a bit closer, put those hands on there, and then what you're gonna start to do is walk your feet forward a little bit, and get yourself down the wall. Okay? Now, in a real ideal world, walk your hands farther and farther down the wall, okay? And that's when you're starting to get into more of like gymnast level athleticism, which is not this guy, okay? And then your third progression is actually trying an attempt on the floor, okay? So you're set up here. I was posing for Chris's camera. You ran away with it, okay? So you're setting up here, gonna have your hands on the floor behind you, and then press up. Okay? So your third progression is just attempting to get into that position, okay? Really play around with your hand position. Make sure that when you're pushing up, you're squeezing your butt and really driving yourself forward. If you feel pain in your low back at all, you're not squeezing your butt, okay? And then the fourth progression is trying to hold that back bridge, okay? Now, when you're first figuring it out, you're gonna press and your arms are gonna have a bend in them. You look like this, okay? The ideal scenario is going to be like you're holding a handstand where you actually get your arms locked out, okay? And if you can get there, chances are you're developing better thoracic extension, okay? I'm gonna try my best to get into that position here. All right, and then press, okay? Nimble as fuck, that's right. Okay, so we're only gonna go for about 6 minutes of this. And that 6 minutes is really just for you to kind of play around and see where you are in those progressions, okay? I would suggest starting with 1 if you've never done this stuff before, because if you try and go right from the floor, you'll be like, I can't even push up. What's going on here, all right? But at least if you like walk yourself down the wall a little bit, it'll give you a bit more of like a sense of how things kind of need to feel, some tension you're gonna feel as you go, okay? Any questions? Good, moving on, all right? From there, we go on to Home Fit Fest, WOD 5, all right? 20-minute AMRAP, 20 minutes, okay? 30 hand release push-ups, 30 Bootstrappers, newish movement, done it once or twice in the home WODs, and 30 overhead reverse backpack lunges. Okay, let's look at these movements. Hand release push-up, pretty simple. Chest to the floor, hands up, push up. Knees don't touch the floor. Knees on the floor, knees off the floor. Knees on the floor, knees off the floor. Push up with the knees on the floor. Push up with the knees off the floor. Okay? The worming, when you go knees on the floor, is you will come up and then you'll lift last thing. Your knees stay off the floor. You'll at least worm from the hip, and it will be a more challenging push-up. So yes, in 20 minutes, I fully expect you to get an uncomfortably large amount of push-ups, okay? And worming is going to happen, all right? So if it happens, I would rather worm in a way that I can control it instead of worming in a way that looks like crap, okay? So from there, we go into the bootstrapper. You have your knees on the floor. You put your hands or your fists, it's up to you, right next to your knees, and then all you're doing is pushing up, extending your legs, coming back down. Okay? Up. Okay? That's it. As you do those, your feet will slowly move backwards. If you get to the point where you're doing this, please check yourself before I wreck yourself, because this is doing nothing officially, okay? Your knees need to be nice and close to your fists or your hands. Cool beans? Last movement. Overhead reverse backpack lunge. Take your backpack, put it up overhead however you want to, okay? Find a good position. Lunge away. All right? 15 per leg. It's going to be a long 20 minutes. All right, guys, that's it for today. Don't forget to be awesome. And you have yourselves a fantastic Thursday.